Welcome, I'm Lewis Moon. Welcome to the Who Corner. It's episode 8 of series 1 of said Who Corner. Nice to have your company here today. So, the episode that we're reviewing today is called The Witchfinders, which is episode 8 of series 11 of Doctor Who. And, so we've also got Who Will Help coming up, and a preview for next week's episode, It Takes You Away. So, if you've been watching the show before, you will know that I've had mixed opinions on Series 11. I've liked a few episodes, thought a couple of episodes were okay, and thought 2 episodes were very bad. But, this week, like last week, it was reasonable. It was okay. It was an okay portion of Who. Wasn't brilliant by any means. Wasn't terrible by any means. I quite enjoyed parts of it. I really enjoyed parts of it. I liked the first few minutes of it. I liked various parts of it, but then there's parts that did annoy me quite a bit. So, yeah, it was okay as a whole. I thought it did a good job at representing the themes of the witch trials. It was quite good at, it wasn't too light-hearted, it was quite dark at points. While there were a few comedy moments, I think Alan Cumming, the reason why I didn't gel to him as much as maybe other people did, is because we were in a point of the episode, and it was quite dark and grim. It felt very dark and grim. And then Alan Cumming comes along, and he's really hammy and over the top and irritating. And there's the fact that he's quite irritating, and there's the fact that he comes in and he doesn't really match the tone of the rest of the episode, or that particular segment of the episode. He improves as the episode goes on, he calms down a bit, which is good. But first of all, when he comes in, he's extreme, and he got on my nerves quite a bit. The acting this week wasn't great, to be honest with you. The acting from Bradley Walsh is still okay. But this week, again, we suffered with, after last week, which balanced the companions reasonably well, I think this week we had an episode which didn't balance the companions well at all. We had Graham, Ryan and Yaz, and they all felt completely and utterly pointless, like they had nothing to do, no purpose to serve during the episode. I just thought they're not, Ryan and Yaz just aren't interesting. I don't know what to say, because they're not good. And I don't think that's Mandeep Gill, I think, has a lot of potential. I think the reason why her character isn't great is because it's just dull. The character is just dull. And, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the characters, and they just feel a bit forced into this. Not that this episode was one of the ones where I felt there were too many companions, but throughout the whole series I felt that there's been at least one companion which has just been completely and utterly wasted, which isn't how it should go. The sonic screwdriver's still used too many times. It was good to see the Doctor find herself in a bit of threat. I thought Jodie was reasonably good this week. Not her best week. I think Demons of the Punjab is still her best week. She did show a tiny bit of range, and she is starting to develop in terms of she's not just that chirpy person anymore. She's not as annoying as she was. Monster-wise, the monsters looked quite cool. They reminded me of the Hemivores from the Sylvester McCoy era. Only Whovians will know what I mean by that. But, yeah, they looked quite creepy. However, when we got to the end of the episode, the sort of denouement, I felt disappointed because they just turned out to be quite similar to all the monsters we faced before. They just felt a bit textbook by the end, which was a shame, as they were villains that were quite creepy and they had quite a bit of potential. So once again, the villain show isn't great for this episode. They were okay. They were okay. Mud witches. Oh yes, the resolution of this episode, I thought it suffered with really bad pacing issues. I thought the pacing was awful this week. I thought it was rushed. I quite liked how we went straight into the episode rather than had a TARDIS scene explaining where they were going. I prefer that. But it just felt really rushed. And that irritated me. The episode's resolution felt very rushed. Which was a shame. Because it was an episode that had quite a bit of potential. And it was enjoyable at parts. I really liked certain parts of it. I thought it was quite a good episode. But there's just so many flaws, once again, which stop it from being anything brilliant or anything notable. And I don't think it's as strong as Rosa or Demons of the Punjab, which really impressed me. It's better as a Doctor Who episode than the two of them. It felt more like a Doctor Who episode. It still doesn't feel a great deal like a Doctor Who episode, but it did feel more like a Doctor Who episode than those two episodes did. I just felt the episode was quite good, but it just suffered from those various flaws. There were quite a few flaws this episode seemed to suffer with. But yeah, it was okay. It was okay this week. It was enjoyable enough. It wasn't bad at all. I think we should go over to Who Will Help, where they're going to solve your Who-related problems. Okay, so we're here. What's your Who-related problem? I told you what my Who-related problem was, for God's sake. No, you didn't. You just told me who you were. Oh, it's the fact that I'm an old piece of merchandise. I even have to be held up by an operator, for goodness sake, which is you today. Thank you. That's okay. I even have to be voiced by the operator. Yes, you do. So you can appear on the screen now. I can appear on the screen now. This is all getting very repetitive. So if we could solve this problem and then from the future not have any things that need operators in the future, that's racist against operators. How's it racist? You're not a race. You're just a person. There's many people like me. Like me. Thank you for propelling me. Yeah, I'm fed up of propelling everyone and voicing everyone, so if we could write some scripts that didn't involve all that, please. I'd like that. Can my wife Michelle come into it, please? No, your wife Michelle cannot come into it, please. Anyway, you're an old piece of merchandise then, that's what you're trying to say. And with the new era of Doctor Who, in the Jodie Whittaker era, you feel as if you are not accepted as a Doctor Who piece of merchandise. Is that correct? It is correct, yes. No, it is not correct. wasn't talking to you. You're not a piece of Doctor Who merchandise. I am a piece of Doctor Who merchandise, for goodness sake. Leave the pieces of Doctor Who merchandise alone. Do you think it's bad or something? No, I didn't. Look, we don't need Doctor Who merchandise fights. I would never be a piece of Doctor Who merchandise. Anyway, we don't need the fights. Look, we'll try and solve your problem. We can't eradicate the merchandise. I mean, there have been many years without any Doctor Who figurines, and now the Jodie Whittaker figurine has come out. Maybe there may be a Bradley Walsh figurine. I don't think that's gonna happen. Ever. So, is there anything else you'd like to say on this infomercial? Either of you? No, do you? Yes, I want my problem solved. I want my problem. See, we're not sort of here for problems. We're sort of here for just general being here-ness. You're going to solve my problem. You promised you would, and you will. Otherwise, I'll be out for revenge. No, you won't. Yeah, we're gonna go next to, go and see... Where are we going? We're going next to go and see, what's going on, not what's going on. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. We're going to go to the Who meter to rank the episode among the others to see how it fares. Somehow the Who corner moved quite close to the camera, so I've been forced to go over here. Let's get that up a bit. Anyway, this is the Who meter. Over here we have my rankings of the 7 episodes so far, and then over here we have performance scales from 1 to 5, 1 to 10, sorry, of our main cast members. So, episode 8, The Witchfinders. What do I rate it out of 10? I'm going to give it a 7. I thought it was quite good. Probably better than last week's, to be honest. I enjoyed last week's. It was good enough. Because it felt more like a Doctor Who episode. But it was just mediocre and dispensable. Like pretty much every episode has been. Every episode this series has been pretty filler to me. There's not really been that classic. There's not been a Blink. There's not been a Heaven Sent. There's not been a Silence in the Library. That we're just so... that we need so much. And I can't see the next 2 episodes being that either, to be honest. The strongest episode of Series 7 was the finale. So maybe we could have the same thing here. But with a title like The Battle of Ranxor Kulos, and the fact that it's written by Chris Chibnall, I don't see that being the case. Over here then we have how I rank the performances from 1 to 10 of the cast members. Jodie Whittaker this week was okay. I'm going to give her a 7. She was quite good. About the same level as she was last week. Bradley Walsh is a 5 this week. He just didn't stick out to me, sadly. He still remains as strong as he possibly can with the content he's given. However, I just don't... I don't think they're getting the best out of Bradley Walsh in some circumstances. I think he's written the best and most consistent out of all of the cast, though, and acted the best and most consistent. Mandeep Gill is a 4. And then I'll give Tosin a 4 too. I don't like to give really low scores for them. I just don't like being that mean. Because I don't think they're lower than a 4. It's just the characters, how they're written, isn't great. So yeah, that's how I would rank the episode on the Who meter. I don't know how we got over here all of a sudden. The Who corner's moved somehow. I don't know how. Anyway, look what I found. It's John. John the Spider. I think it's John. Yes, John. There we go. There's John. I get confused between John and his pal Timmy. But there's John the Spider from our spider infestation the other week. Let's stick him over there. That's just filler material like every episode of Series 11 so far. Let's go over for part 2 of this week's Who Will Help. Anyway, here we are with another edition of our Doctor Who infomercials. We are Who Will Help. We will. That was the TARDIS. Can I not have a moment to myself, for goodness sake? Yes. No, you can't. I was just wondering, Gilbert told me I could come to you with all of my Doctor Who related problems. Well, I have one. And I want to become a member of staff at Who to Help. It's not Who Will Help, it's Who to Help, and that's not a Doctor Who related problem. Yes it is, because this show relates to... This isn't a show. It is, but you're not meant to call it that. You're meant to call it an infomercial. Okay? I'd just like to become a member of staff here. I mean, Gilbert, he says I'd be much better than you at the job. Gilbert, do you want to be sacked? Do you want him to replace you? In fact, you can replace Gilbert. What? Yeah. I'm the one that does the Who Will Help. We will, that's what, no who. Gilbert's your boss, isn't he? Yeah. Gilbert is my boss. Then why are you pretending you're the boss of Gilbert? I can't do this every week. I can't keep holding you up every single week while being on screen. I mean, what? What? I'm fired? No. I'm the guy that goes, Who will help? We will. That's what, no who. That's the TARDIS again, if you can hear that. Yeah. Look, Gilbert, you're my boss. I know that, but I do solve the problems. Do you? What about the Peter Capaldi merchandise? You didn't see my lips moving there, did you? Did you? Yeah. Oh dear. Yes, I thought so. I mean, yes. Well, you're out of this then. Leave. Go. Fair enough then. I don't want to go. My whole life was building up to being here. Can I at least do this one more time? Please. Okay. Who will help? We will. That's what, no who. Things won't be the same anymore. Yes, things won't be the same anymore. They will be completely different for the better. Anyway, who will help? We will, that's what, no who. Yes, I have an elongated arm holding me up. And who will help? I located you. What's that? Oh, lovely pale-skinned rug. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. It's Lewis you're looking for. He's run over that way. I'm the new guy here. The new guy here. I want the person leading Who Will Help dead. But the guy leading Who Will Help is Lewis. He's over there. Okay. Close one. I'm still over here. Just run. Look, he'll be after you. Ah! Yes. My devious plan worked. Anyway, make sure you phone in with us if you have any Doctor Who related problems. We will be back next week with another infomercial telling you the truth behind Who Will Help. See you then. Last week, we didn't give you an edition of Who Will Help. I think you'll find that on YouTube. I don't know what I would have done. Whether I've uploaded that on YouTube, I'm not sure. Whether this week's is episode 7 or 8. Ooh. Anyway, next week it's episode 9 of series 11. It Takes You Away. Ooh. Anyway, It Takes You Away is the penultimate episode of series 11. Cripes. This series really needs to ramp up. They've got 2 episodes left, plus the New Year's Day special, if you count that as series 11. And it needs to do some it needs to give us 2 really, 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 really good stories to make series 11 any higher than the weakest series of New Who so far. Because every other series has delivered that classic sort of really, really strong, flawless episode, and this one just hasn't. So, yeah, this week's episode is set in a Norwegian fjord. So I'm not sure. I'm not really sure much. I'm not really that sure about what time period this episode is set. Whether it's present day or whether it's slightly in the future. I'm not really sure. They didn't really give us any details in the synopsis. I'm guessing it's about the present day. And there's a little girl who's scared of something. Literally, the details for this episode are so thin. And the trailer's quite brief. Yeah, it looks quite dull, to be honest with you. I can't really tell you what I think about this episode, because it does look pretty dull. It doesn't look memorable or notable at all. But there's just so little that we know about it. I think Kevin Eldon's in it. That's the only guest cast member I can remember. It's just... It looks reasonably dull. I'm intrigued to see what it's like. I can't see it being that classic that we need. It could be. It could surprise us. It really could. It could be the best episode of Doctor Who we've ever seen. Probably be lower. It won't be the best episode of Doctor Who we've ever seen. Ha 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 ha. So yeah, you can find out what I think of It Takes You Away next week on the Who Corner, episode 9. And on that show as well, we'll have another edition of Who Will Help, and it's our preview for the series finale, the Battle of Ranxor Af Kulos. Oh my god. That means that next week we're previewing the finale. Just shows how close we are to then. It's Advent next week. Christ, how is it happening? Yeah, that's that then. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you'll tune in next week. Only 2 episodes of the Who Corner left to go, and then we've got the New Year's Day special, which may be a live episode of the Who Corner. I may just do it live on New Year's Day, because it's a big day of the year, the first day of the year, kicking off a brand new year of Mistless Moon in Star with a live review of that episode. And then there'll be a Best Bits and Unseen Moments episode quite early on in the new year. And then I've got 2 little things to get out on Christmas Eve and New Year that I need to New Year's Eve, that I need to get out. So I better start filming those. Anyway, you don't care. Let's... So, yeah. I will see you next time. Same time, same space. Goodbye. And it's goodbye from Timmy. No, John. John. That's it. John. John the spider. Yes. John. Johnny boy. Stick him up there.